Real quick, time for the next devlog, and the next public demo has been released. This public demo has the 2 additional characters, Screenor and Foestripe, and it has the 3 additional stages, and a few other changes. Real quick, before we get into this, if you want to help support the game, other than obviously playing it, recording videos and posting them is probably the best way to get the video out. The word out about this game. So if you want to support the game, that is the main way to do it. Game's free, link in the description. So, real quick, before we show off any of the new-ish content, I'm just going to show off Bizok here. I have upped his movement speed slightly, and I have changed how his uppercut works. So, the uppercut now has the same effect the kick does. The wind-up for the uppercut is decreased by 2 frames, but the length of the uppercut itself is the same. But he goes further in, he leans in further with the uppercut. So I updated the animation to be snappier, while making the attack do the same amount of damage and knockback. And I also made it to where you gain a little bit of vertical height. Not enough to really change how the move works, but you just make it more snappy in general. Because that was a big issue with Bizok, was the uppercut just didn't have enough weight to it. Now it does. Bizok, I made all these changes to him because he was probably my least favorite of the characters currently in the game. And he still probably is, but I think that is a significant positive change. And being the worst character, I still think he's completely viable, which is neat, I guess. Now we can go ahead and jump into Stage 5. I'm not going to show all of Stage 5, just so you guys can experience it. Same story as me not showing off Gore Behemoth in that first video, but I will show off a little bit of it. The beginning of it's pretty vanilla, all things considered. But, No new playable characters are going to be in this devlog. They're obviously in the public build. You guys haven't had access to Screenor or Foestripe yet, but the 6th and final playable character will have to wait. So these logs here are new hazards created for Stage 5, and I imagine they will be in a few stages in the future. You can figure out how they work by looking at them. Now we move on to here to see the first new enemy type of Stage 5. The Death Cap, which is essentially just a buffed Morris. So there's that. I've decided to remove appearances of Sponge from Stage 4 and make the only main stage he appears in Stage 1. And Frightfang, the Stage 4 enemy, will not be in any main game levels either. As you can see here, we have a rematch with Gore Behemoth. He has 100 health this time around, but the same knockback and damage and all that, just decreased health. And that's all I'm going to show in the way of Stage 5 for this recording. So, yeah. One more thing I want to mention is that whenever you beat Stage 5, this little portal thing here opens up. I'm going to give it a unique sprite later on, but as of now it's the same as the level select portal. You enter it, and you get taken to a map screen that the optional weirdo things are going to go to. There probably won't be any, optional campaigns or anything in this menu. It's just going to be weird little optional stages, probably. So, beating Stage 5 unlocks this menu, and it gives you access to the game's endless mode. Which, yeah. The game has an endless mode already. So, infinitely, enemies are going to drop from the sky. You have a pit to the right that you can knock them into. That's about it. Pretty simple. As it goes on, more difficult enemies spawn, and more enemies in general spawn. On the first 2 or 3 waves, only Sponges and Morrises can spawn. Then Crowdos, then Zogbog Dogs, then Merms, then Roderick can spawn, it's the same iteration as Roderick from from Stage 4, so with the decreased health. Death Cap can spawn, Frightfang can spawn, and Gore Behemoth can also spawn. So, yeah. Basically, every single regular enemy, with the exception of Bidis, for obvious reasons, Bidis is unkillable, Every regular enemy can spawn in Endless from the first 5 levels, and the first 2 bosses can spawn with diminished health. I probably won't add the enemies from stages 6 through 10 to Endless, and if I do, I might make a separate Endless mode that has all of the enemies, because I don't really want them shown off here when this unlocks after beating stage 5, and I don't want Endless itself to change as you go through the game. So I might add a second version of Endless that's harder with a different arena that has every base game enemy once all 10 stages are done. So yeah, that kind of concludes this devlog.